Week number 13 of the NFL kicks off on Friday this week. But before we get into week 13, let's talk about the week that was in week 12, as well as the games that are coming up. Last week, I went 10 from 16. Not the best week. I did get a few games wrong. Couple of margins, though, that I picked really close, though. I did have San Francisco to win by 15. They won that game by 18. Don't think many people, obviously 3% of people there had the Packers, didn't have that tip there. Did go the Cincinnati Bengals, the Joe Burrow-less Bengals, but the Steelers were able to edge one out there in a low-scoring game. I had Tennessee by 10, they won by 7. I had the Giants to win against the Patriots, got that one right, and I had them to win by 5, they won by 3. Got the Texans wrong, tipped them by 3, and obviously Jacksonville were able to get the job done there by 3. I went with Denver. I also had the Kansas City Chiefs to win by 15, as well as Philly to win by 5, and I think they won by 4 in a really entertaining game. But let's get into week number 13 of the NFL.
To entertain house.
So just guys, I am coming 69th out of 652 tipping Australians over here for American football, and 668 out of 7,000 in the globe. So, this season I have still been consistent, but obviously dropping off a little bit. But let's get into these games. Starting off on Friday at 12 p.m. It is the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Seattle Seahawks. And man, the Seahawks are dropping out of form quickly, aren't they? It was an okay performance against the 49ers, but in recent weeks, they have been disappointing, whereas the Dallas Cowboys have looked better and better and are chasing their 4th straight win. Coming into the last couple of weeks of the season, they are looking like a dominant team. And I think they should win this game well, especially being at home. I think the Dallas Cowboys will win by about 15 points. Then you've got the Tennessee Titans hosting the Indianapolis Colts. Now, the Tennessee Titans were able to beat the Carolina Panthers. And as I mentioned last week, you can't take much confidence out of that win, especially the way that they've been playing. Can they go on a run, like the Denver Broncos have, from really poor form to just, winning games? Definitely possible with a team like the Indianapolis Colts, but like the Dallas Cowboys, the Colts are chasing their 4th straight win. They're in nice form coming into this game as well. They're on the road, so they've got a point to prove. Just looking how the Colts went last week, they did beat the Buccaneers. I remember I tipped the Bucs in that game for an upset, but the Colts ended up winning by 7. I'm going to go the Indianapolis Colts here. I think they're coming on a nice little run. I did actually say they would go on a bit of a run earlier in the year. Didn't expect them to drop off as much as they did, though. But the Indianapolis Colts, for mine, should be able to beat Tennessee. Tennessee at home should make it a bit tougher than expected, though. So I do expect the Colts to win by a touchdown. I'm going to go the Colts to win, once again, by 7. Next up, it is the Patriots hosting the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, the Chargers, they're in a tricky situation at the moment, down the barrel of their 4th straight loss if they lose this one. And they're on the road, which is tough for the Chargers as well. They were looking a little bit better, 2 wins a couple of weeks ago. And now they've been in games, but they just have not been able to capitalize it in offense in, second halves especially. A lot of talk about their coach. It's been like that for a long time as well. So there's real danger signs here at the Chargers. Whereas the New England Patriots, they're going to be desperate for a win. They're playing at home as well. Massive danger game for both of these sides. But I'm going to take the Los Angeles Chargers. I don't have a lot of confidence with this game, but I think that their offense can score more than the Patriots, and I think they should be able to get the win here in a very tight matchup. I think this might be fairly low scoring as well, but I am going to take the Los Angeles Chargers to win by 2 points. I think it's going to be a thriller, but the Chargers are going to win. Next up, it's the New Orleans Saints at home hosting the Detroit Lions. Now, the Detroit Lions are coming off a loss against the Packers. They got really close in that game. The the other day, making it 22-29. They just seem to be putting late offense on the board. They've put some high scores up this year as well. So, they have been a dangerous side. They are on the road. The Saints haven't been too bad, but they are chasing their third straight loss. So they're probably desperate for a win. They started the season a lot better than their form recently. But the Lions, you can't fault them, They have won 4 of their last 5 games. I think they should be able to win this game, but I do think it will be tighter than people think. I think the Detroit Lions are able to get back in the winner's circle. I think it will be close though, so I'm going to go Detroit to win by 5 over the Saints on Monday morning. Next up, it is the Falcons on the road to the New York Jets. Now, the Jets are chasing their 5th straight loss. They did look okay. Not great, but okay to start the season. And they still have moments in defense where they are a decent defense. But the Atlanta Falcons, something has clicked in them in the last couple of weeks. I think they're going to win this game. I don't trust the Jets, even though it is at home. And I think the Falcons are looking to build off of that win against the Saints. They were able to capitalize from it. So I think the Falcons win by 7 points. I could actually say that I think I see them winning by more, but I'm going to say 7 points. I think the Falcons are going to be too good for the New York Jets. Next up, it is the Steelers hosting the Arizona Cardinals. Now, the Cardinals chasing their 3rd straight loss. They are desperate for a win at this point. 1 win from their last 7 games as well. And then the Steelers, they have been really, really good. They've got 5 wins from their last 7 games. And, a win against the Cincinnati Bengals. They didn't have Joe Burrow, but they've still got a really nice team. And they were one of the form teams in the competition. And the Steelers ended up winning by 6. So they can take confidence. They're at home for this game as well. I think they should win well. I think the Steelers are going to win by 12 points here. I think I've doubted the Steelers a little bit coming into the last 3 weeks. And I think this is a week where I think they can really, build a great performance and an impressive one for the fans. This could be a big scoreline because the Cardinals just aren't that great. But I think that the Cardinals should be able to cover something like a 15.5 line. I don't think you're going to find that line. I think you're going to find this one at about the 5.5 mark. But I think the Steelers win by 12. Then you've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers returning home. They've had 1 win from their last 7 games, and so have the Carolina Panthers. So at the moment, these teams are very evenly matched from what we saw from the start of the year. A really bad start to the Panthers, and then an okay start to the Bucs. So you could say that the Bucs are the better team going into this one. But the Bucs' form recently has not been that great. And the Panthers, you've seen a high-scoring offense at the start of the year. Haven't seen too much of that recently. Obviously, only 10 points in some of their game just the other day. But I think that Tampa should win and win well here. I think Tampa at home are going to fire up against a really poor side. And I think that Tampa are going to win by 14 points. Last week, the Washington Commanders were absolutely embarrassed on Thanksgiving, and now they're at home hosting the Miami Dolphins, one of the teams that have the greatest offense in the NFL this season. The Miami Dolphins, they've lost 2 of their last 8 games, so a really good record for the Dolphins, chasing their 3rd straight win, and a big one here to get one on the road as well. I think that they should flog Washington. It was a poor performance from Washington. I'm going to say Miami win by 14. I think Washington, there's a chance they could keep it respectable and, Miami win by about 10. I think minimum, if you can get a line of 7.5, that would be my ideal line for this game. You'd be all over the Dolphins. I think Washington, 4 straight losses. They're not the team that we saw at the start of the year. They are a lot worse than we thought. And the Miami Dolphins are looking pretty hot as we come into the back half of the season. Now, this is actually one of the games of the round. I love this matchup at Houston. It is the Houston Texans, who have won 3 of their last 4 games, taking on the Denver Broncos, who have won 5 games in a row. Broncos country are riding right now. We did not expect them to go on this run, but here they are. And, they go into this game as underdogs coming off this win streak as well. I could be wrong, but I think this is the longest winning streak currently in the NFL. The Houston Texans and CJ Stroud have had an awesome season, you know. He has set up some really clutch moments and some close opportunity as well. And they go into this game as favorites for that reason. Being at home, they should be able to sneak this one. But the Denver Broncos, their offense has been fantastic in recent weeks. Some of their games have been very, very close and even lucky. But others, they've been able to put some decent scorelines on some pretty decent teams as well. So really tough game to get a read on. I'm higher than the Texans than I am on the Broncos at this point of the season. But I'm going to tip Denver. I'm going to tip the Denver Broncos to win their 6th straight game. They are on a run. As I said, Broncos country are absolutely riding right now. This is going to be a tight game. But I do have the Denver Broncos in an upset. They're about $2.40, which is an absolutely beautiful price. I've got the Denver Broncos winning by 3. I think they're going to upset Houston. I've tipped Houston a lot in recent weeks. And I think this is just a game where Houston might go back-to-back losses in this part of the season. Next up, at 8:25 a.m. on Monday, it is the Los Angeles Rams at SoFi Stadium hosting the Cleveland Browns. The Browns have won 3 of their last 4 games, and the Rams have gone back-to-back wins since the return of Matthew Stafford. You know, their offense was looking really, really good last week. I think it was against the Arizona Cardinals. So they've seemed to put some things together over there at Los Angeles. But I think the Browns are a better defensive team, and they should be able to keep this game really, really close. It's obviously a big situation losing your QB this late in the season. And that's why I think Los Angeles might win this one. I do think it'll be tight. I can see it going either way. This will be a grind of a game, but it also could be high scoring. I think it'll be more of a grind. I think you're going to have about maybe 41 points in this one maximum. But I'm going to take Los Angeles Rams by 6. I think it will be tight, but I think the Rams are just going to beat the Browns by a tight margin on Monday morning. This matchup I'm looking forward to. I've had this one circled on my calendar for a long time, and this could be our NFC matchup earlier next year. It is the Philadelphia Eagles in Philly taking on the San Francisco 49ers, and both of these teams going into this game on a win streak. Both of these teams playing some fantastic football. In recent weeks, the 49ers have once again looked like the team we saw at the start of the year and a massive contender for the Super Bowl. And then you got the Philadelphia Eagles, who just seem to be winning games by whatever needs necessary. The win in overtime against the Bills there was great. They've had some really, really close ones, but they've been able to grind it out. You know, they beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl rematch as well. They go in as underdogs for this game as well, which is really interesting because, you know, the 49ers are on the road, but just a complete team, man, with their roster back. This is going to be such a good game. This is going to be, I think this could be the game of the year. Who do I tip? You got Philly, who have won 5 in a row. You got the Niners, who probably need this win because, yeah, they've got 3 in a row, but they had that hiccup earlier in the season. They've got a point to prove to beat, you know, a big team, considering they are one of those big teams as well. This is a massive NFC matchup. It's in Philly as well. I'm going to go Philly. I'm going to do it. Philly just seem to find a way to win games. They seem to be on this revenge tour right now. And as much as I love the way the 49ers are playing, I think Philly are just a level above. And even if this game gets to about, you know, the 31-34 kind of scoreline, I think Philly, I had them by 7, I'm changing it. I'm changing it to Philly by 3. Philly's going to win by 3. About 31-34, something like that. Both of these teams have great offenses. So, yeah, I'm going Philly. I think Philly's going to upset the San Francisco 49ers, even though it is in Philadelphia. But this is going to be one hell of a matchup. Next up, it is the Green Bay Packers, who are 2 from 2, hosting the Kansas City Chiefs, who got the win against the Raiders after losing that Super Bowl rematch. As for this one, Green Bay at home should make this tough for the Chiefs. And the Chiefs haven't been playing fantastic. You know, they played a better second half, but they let the Raiders out to an early lead. and you can't do that against some team. The other thing is if it's really, really cold, if there's the snow there. We saw Mahomes and the Chiefs struggle over there in Denver earlier in the year. Could it be the same at Lambeau Field with the Packers having that advantage? Perhaps. The Packers haven't been playing too bad. You know, they beat the Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving as well. But I think realistically, Kansas City should win. I do think it'll be a bit of a grind to get the win. I'm going to go with something like a 27 to 17 kind of scoreline. I think the Chiefs win by 10. I think they can do it. You know, we've been able to bounce back from that. We've already lost two from 4 games, so I think we definitely need to win this one, especially with the AFC kind of being so open. And I think the Jacksonville Jaguars at the moment still leading the AFC. I think Kansas City win by 10 points. And you've got the Jacksonville Jaguars hosting the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, the Jacksonville Jaguars have won 2 of their last 3 games, and the Bengals have lost 3 from 3 after losing Joe Burrow out for the season. So really, really worrying signs there for the Bengals. They were able to put a bit of a score against the Steelers, that being 10 points. Definitely need to put a bigger score line against a team like the Jaguars, who have a really nice offense and are looking like, you know, one of the best teams in the AFC all season. They have won 6 of their last 7 games, which is phenomenal for Jacksonville. And I think Jacksonville are going to expose Cincinnati here. I think they're going to flog them. I think Jacksonville are the top of the AFC for a reason. And I think that the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to win by 17 points over the Cincinnati Bengals. So guys, that's going to do it for my week number 13 tips. Let me know your tips in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new around here and turn on post notifications. I might put out a separate video in the coming day relating to what I think is going to happen in the back half of the season in regards to where teams will be ranked by the end of the season. I can't wait for this Philadelphia-San Francisco matchup. And I got some friends who go for the Packers, so I can't wait for Mahomes to send Jordan Love packing. But thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys later.